Okay, so I'm having just a little insight that I thought I would share. So basically, I think, or maybe I should say, I feel. I don't know how to say this. I do know how to say this, but I'm taking time to say this. I think we're used to like processing our experiences with our heads versus our bodies, or I don't know, we kind of like create these things within the body through the way that like we use our minds. Does that make sense? It does make sense. But how do I explain it? Articulate it. So let me just use the cards because that's the easiest thing. But I pulled some cards because I just got done with a little I don't know what you call it, like therapy session type thing. Not really traditional therapy, but whatever. It's helpful. And I just asked the cards, like, what was the takeaway from today? And I got the Four of Cups. And then I got true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. With what if things are actually fine? False evidence appearing real, and all is well. So yeah, with those cards, I'm just thinking, like, what if things are actually fine a lot of the time? But our response to them is to, like, make them out to be more than what they have to be. Like, for example, in my little session, I was describing some issues, like some symptoms I've been having, and about how I wondered if my focus and like my attachment to those symptoms and like my concern for like what they mean was like sort of, what's that word, exacerbating? That's a very fancy word. I wondered if how I was thinking about it was making it worse. That's an easier way to say it. And so I think what I'm trying to get at here, even with like the Four of Cups over here, it's like this lady has all these little cups and stuff, and like this traditionally is kind of just like the little dissatisfied, like taking things for granted card. So it, I mean, how that ties in is like there's all this like potential that we have, but we get stuck on certain things, like certain disappointments. Like maybe this lady's, like, her other cups don't got no rainbows out, like, in them. Maybe she like dropped her Skittles or something, and now she's just got them in that one little bowl. But she ain't worried about the little bowl. She's sitting there stuck on like the loss of her other little bowls, like not having her Skittles in them. And I don't even know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about, but I'm, yeah, doing that thing where I say that I don't. But anyways, I just feel like we create our own problems a lot of the time by how we perceive them. And we tell these stories about things that limit us. And then we have experiences that seem like they're like counter to what we're needing or wanting or whatever, but it's really, there's a higher understanding. I don't know, I do know how to explain this. I'm doing it right now. I'm catching myself now when I do that, because it's not helpful. So where was I going with that? So for example, in my session, I was explaining how I've been struggling to trust myself for a while, and it felt like I was being given like an opportunity to kind of step into trusting myself more, because I just kind of had some, like, without getting into like details of the situation, like I just thought I knew some things about some people, and I just felt like everything happened that went against that like showed me that I didn't know anything, and like that I couldn't trust myself. It felt like everything was telling me the opposite. Like all the experiences I was having were just like seeming like evidence for me not to trust myself. But the point was, like, now that I'm through the thick of it or whatever, I'm realizing that the point was that I didn't need the confirmation about the other people or whatever, the situation. Like, I never needed it, and I don't need it. And that's why I didn't get it. Because the confirmation comes from me. So yeah. Things are actually fine until we make them not fine. And I'm not saying that things don't like happen that suck, or well, do they suck, or are we just defining them that way? The more you know. No. I mean, this is like a stretch here, like, because when I think of that whole concept of like, is it just a matter of how we define it? Which I really think it is. But some things I feel like it's harder to apply that, like loss, for example. Like, but even, I mean, it's just like our attachment to our concepts of things like death and anything else. It's like what we believe about them is gonna have like a consequence, I guess. So, I mean, the consequence of believing, I'm gonna just use my dad as an example for people who watch me, like, they know my dad's dead. And I don't mean to say that like disrespectfully, but I know where I stand with that, so I don't have to like defend myself. But yeah. So that's a very, like, it has been a very painful thing for me. But sometimes I wonder, like, if I was able to like step out of the narrative around death and like all the stuff like about him being gone and everything, like, and the separation, like, if I was to step out of that, could I kind of like not feel as much of the pain? And I'm not saying like escapism or anything, but just acknowledging like how powerful like we could be, and like maybe we are already, but it's just like kind of difficult for our minds to wrap themselves around themselves. Yeah. I was going somewhere, I thought, but I might have went there and didn't realize it, but who knows. So yeah, I don't know, like this card just talk about like true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. I feel like certain things happen that are like, that we define as like painful, and then it's sort of like it gets stuck with us, like it sticks with us, and we kind of perpetuate that story and that like the feelings associated with the story, and then it just becomes like dead weight. It's just dragging around. But I was also like talking about this in my session. It's like you almost, or I, like a lot of times I almost want to seek out the evidence to support like the story, the harmful story, just because it's like comfortable in what I know, which I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this. But it's almost like things being fine is more uncomfortable than them not being fine, which is like, I don't know. It just seems kind of like horrible, but I mean, I'm just making that judgment when I don't have to. But yeah. So I guess you can be comfortable in discomfort too. But it's not as comfortable as you could be, like, let it go. I'm learning that. Like, what if things are actually fine? I don't know. I'm finding out, but it's definitely like a mind stretch. Like who would I be without my pain? I'm finding out. I was trying to see if there was anything else I felt like I needed to add, and I'm not really getting anything at the moment, so maybe that was it. But yeah, just wanted to pop in and share because I just felt like I had some little insights, and I'm still kind of figuring out what I'm even saying. But I feel like there's something in there. There's something to what I'm processing right now. So yeah, I'm gonna just give myself permission to feel through whatever this is, because I think that stuckness is what needs to move. It sounds so like, no, I'm not gonna say what it sounds like because it's gonna be something where I'm bashing myself. This is a constant like back and forth in my head, but I'm not gonna let it win. Yeah, we get stuck. The only thing to do is get unstuck. So if you created like this whole painful narrative around something, it's probably in need of some attention, which is what I'm finding out about myself. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Good luck. Luck to you. Feel you. Doing the work too. So thanks for listening. See you.